With NDSU taking the 2nd seed, they will be facing Denver, the 7th seed, tonight for the quarterfinals. NDSU has already beaten the Pioneers twice in the regular season, one being beating them by 18 points.
Well, that doesn't mean that Denver doesn't have their wide variety of talent, though. The Pioneers have a dangerous scorer. That is KJ Hunt, their junior guard. He has 438 points on the season. Their next best scorer has 321 points. That is over 100 points to their next scorer. Now, speaking of that next scorer, the next highest scorer is Coben Porter. He has made 68 three-pointers this season, and he has 42% from the three-point line. So very dangerous along the three-point line. Yep. Now, as for the team in general this year for Denver, they started out non-conference play with a 4-9 record, so not very good in non-conference. But they had 2 huge road victories in conference play. The first one came against Kansas City in the middle of the season, where they had a 63-55 victory over them. Then at the end of the season, they ended on a 2-game win streak, 1 game against St. Thomas, the other one coming against Western Illinois on the road with a massive 6-point victory over the Leathernecks. Now also, while they have been very good in some of those games, they do have a lot of big problems, and one of them is inconsistency. They've had a lot of big losing streaks, not a lot of good winning streaks. There's been a couple of 2 games, maybe 1 or 2 3-game win streaks in there, but most of the time it's been 3-game or 4-game losing streaks, including a 6-game losing streak they had in non-conference play. So that's definitely one of their greatest weaknesses. But we do know that Denver has talent, and they need to be watched. Now, while Denver does have talent, they aren't the only ones with playmakers. Tell us more about NDSU's playmakers.
NDSU, there's a boatload of guys. You got Rocky Cruiser, who's already averaging 15.8 points a game, and the highest in rebounds with 8 rebounds per game. And then you got Sam Greaser right behind him with 13.5 points per game. And then Grant Nelson, the Slendy God, with 11.2. Now, our defense is also a force to be reckoned with. You got Tyree Eating leading in steals with 31. So we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be very interesting, considering the last 2 times these teams played together was back in 2020, and NDSU was a 1 seed at that time. Denver was an 8, but NDSU was a 1, and it still came right down to the wire until Vinny Shahid got a 2-pointer right at the end of the game with 18 seconds left to get a 2-point victory for the Bison. So it's going to be very interesting tonight. Even though it's a 2 and 7 seed, it's going to be a very interesting matchup. I predict that NDSU still will get the victory with by 15 points. But there's also some keys that we need to go over before this game even starts. And the keys of the game are, for one, to contain KJ Hunt. He's their most dangerous scorer. He's very lethal. And, if he scores a lot of points, it kind of puts your defense in a big hole. But if your defense can contain him, that takes out half of their scoring. Now, the other half to take out is to make sure to keep Coben Porter, away from the three-point line. He's their other half of the offense. He's the guy behind the three-point line. He's always been dangerous. They're over 40%, so he's going to be lethal. And the final thing is just to make sure your shots count. I mean, you can do all you can on defense, but if you go a few minutes without scoring on your side of the ball, that puts your defense, once again, in a big hole.
And speaking of scoring, for the Bison, their strengths are getting those paint points and also from the field. Now, we've got to work on those threes. I know Rocky Cruiser is a good 3-point guy for us, but I think the Bison, I see them pretty. I'm thinking the Bison will win by 15 tonight.
Yep, and then, like I said earlier, I think the Bison will win by 10-15 as well.
All righty. We'll keep you guys updated for a halftime show and also a post-game show. So stay tuned.